All right. Thank you. I appreciate the help. All right. Today I want to talk about something could be possibly controversial. You know, always getting into controversy here. But what I want to talk about is relationships with your friends, with your family. And in those relationships, I want to talk about conflict. Have you guys ever had conflict with friends or family? Yeah, okay. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you don't even know what I'm going through right now. Okay, I've had conflict. I'm a human being. I'm going to talk about some of my issues that have came up just by living a life, and I'm going to talk about some things that we can do and some help. See, I think a lot of times in church or a lot of preachers, we usually preach about the topics. We usually preach about this, or this, and we don't give you answers. It's not like, if you do this, then this will happen. It's mostly just like, we need to rise up and we need to be a generation or whatever, but how? I'm always the how person, like, okay, that's great, but how do I do that? And today, hopefully will bring you, these 3 easy steps to help. So it's kind of like, if you guys ever, what's that website? BuzzFeed, the BuzzFeed, you always see those on Facebook. Nobody has Facebook in here, that's fine. You scroll through and see the BuzzFeed and like, okay, 20 cool things about the 90s or something like that. Not a whole lot, but okay. These are the jokes. This is a joke portion. You can feel free to laugh and make me feel better. That would be great. There's going to be a few. I've got to add a few in, okay? It can't be totally dry. So, yeah. So we're going on. My first step to help you out in your relationship, to help you out when conflict arises, my first step, this is the very first thing, is always forgive. Never be lacking in forgiveness. Now, all of these just sound so easy, okay? Always forgive. That's what you've always heard in your, Sunday school lessons. You're like, okay, guys, we should always forgive because that's what we should do. Leave that example, but seriously, honestly, look at it, and what forgiveness really means, what it is. Yeah, we need to always forgive, and I think it's our mindset that we don't truly know what forgiveness means. I'm going to tell you guys a story. I do stories differently. I tell stories myself from the Bible because in this generation, we live in a generation that doesn't know Bible stories. That doesn't know, the simplest Bible story. These kids don't know who David and Goliath was. David and Goliath sounds like, I don't know, somebody riding a motorcycle or something to them. Or at least where I live, that's what I'm focusing on, is trying to get these kids to know these Bible stories. We don't live in an era where you go down the toy aisle and you don't see Bible stuff. I remember going down the toy aisle, you see all these kind of Bible books and then, Bible things, and we don't live in that area anymore. It's gone. You've got to go to a Christian bookstore to get that kind of stuff. So it's our job to kind of lead into that. So I tell these Bible stories in hopefully a language that they'll understand, and that's what I'm going to do today. If this water works out, and it might spill, and it might be really entertaining. Oh, by the way, whenever I speak, okay, I'm going to have this water because I get really dry mouth when I'm nervous, okay? Gross, right? And what I want you guys to do whenever I take a drink, you start clapping, okay? Fantastic, okay? I'm going to try that again just so we can get it. That's why I come back here, honestly. You guys are so good. So, we're going to start this story out. This is a story of this older gentleman. He has 2 sons. And one son is a younger son. Now I'll be like, oh, I know this story now. But one of the sons is a younger son, one's an older son. The younger son, he's like, okay, I got it all together. I know what I'm doing with my life. I got to figure it out. I'm going to go away and I'm going to take all my inheritance, all that my dad owes me for being born by him, and I'm going to live it up. So he goes up to his father and says, yo, Dad. Obviously, it doesn't say that in the Bible, okay? This is where the interpretation comes in. Somebody could write a Kurt Miller interpretation, whatever. But he says, yo, Dad, hey, I think that I've learned all that I need to learn from you. I want to go out on my own, and I want to live my life how I want to live it. And so his dad's, like, okay. By the way, this is found in Luke 15:11 through 32, if you want to read what the actual Bible says. And his dad's like, okay, that's fine. But you got to know, that you're going away, and I'm your father, so I'll give you what you need. So his father divided everything between his sons, and he gave his younger son his due, his money, his inheritance, what he, quote unquote, deserved. So his son, of course, if you're doing something like this, you obviously don't have good motives, right? I mean, obviously he wants to get away and do something more interesting at the house. So of course, he finds new friends. And if any of you have lived and noticed, once you have money, friends start coming in. Once you have a little bit of that change, a little bit of cash in your pocket, you get some friends, And then usually they're not the good type of friends. They're the friends that like, oh, you're partying? I'm going to party too. That sounds awesome. Let me come with. And so he gets some friends, and he's going out to these certain places where you meet these certain ladies that aren't up to no good, if you know what I'm saying, okay? And they're all kinds of doing stuff. And then finally, one day, he wastes all of this money, throws it into the air. It's gone. He partied it up, lived it up, spent all his money, and then he went into this place where he opens up the wallet. He says, oh, all of this is gone. What do I do now? He's like, well, I've got to keep these friends again. I've got to do something. I got to keep these guys hanging around me because this is where it's at. This is cool. This is hip. So what he does is he finds himself a job. And this might be you someday. You leave, well, maybe not some of the older of us, but you leave the house and you spend all the money, and then you come back and you have to get a job because one day your parents won't pay for your stuff, you younger kids. I'm just saying, and it really stinks, okay? We just bought a car and we've got to make that payment every month. We've got to make a rent or a house payment every month, and we've got to do these kinds of things. And so he decides, okay, well, I guess I'll get a job. And this is like the equivalent to like pushing carts at Walmart, all right? Not really, it's a lot worse, okay? It's like, I don't know, I'm not even gonna go there. So it's a really bad job. What he's doing, and he's basically feeding the pigs. All right, you guys ever been around pigs? No? At the fair, you guys ever seen pigs? Are they the most cleanest animals in the world? Yeah? No, they're not. They're pretty disgusting. And they'll eat anything, of course. I mean, you guys know. So, in the flatland, you got to explain pigs because all they see is, like on TV, like those cute pigs that people have for pets. And the flatlands are like, oh, you actually eat those? No. Just kidding, just kidding. This is the other joke portion, okay? And so they've got these pigs, and he's feeding the pigs. They're disgusting. It's gross. And he is so down on his luck. He is so wanting of money that he's like, I'm so hungry. I just want to eat what the pigs are eating. That's all I want, just to eat what the pigs are eating. He ain't eating no McDonald's or anything like that. He's wanting to eat like the scraps, okay? But still, nobody would even give him that. So this guy, would you guys think he was in a high point or low point? He was in a pretty low point, right? I mean, to be eating like corn cobs, not even the good stuff, the like actual cob of corn. That's not a good place in your life, just FYI. And so he was in that point of his life where he was just at the lowest. He was wanting to eat pig food, and so he goes and you get these moments of clarity, and he was thinking to himself, he's like, okay, I've got nothing left. No money, all the money's gone, everything's gone. But wait. At least if I get a job at my father's place, at least if I go back home, get a job working for my father, at the very least, I'll have something to eat. Because like my father's servants, they're eating. At this other place they're eating, he'll have at least 3 meals a day just working for his father. So his father had pretty good setup, but and so he's like, at least I'll be doing that. All right. So from that father's point of view, if you looked at it from the father's point of view, I know some of you are fathers in here, right? We got some fathers in here. Say, whoa, whoa. Or not. It's cool. Yeah. We got some fathers in here. From that father's point of view, if this was happening to your child, your child's like, yo, Dad, deuces, I'm out. Give me all your money that you promised me whenever, you're going to be leaving. What would you do? Would you be like, oh, you got something coming to you and it's not money? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not a father yet, but I'm assuming whenever that happens, and then I get to that point, and then he says, I'm going to do what I want to do, and you're not going to tell me what, and just give me all your money, I'm probably going to be like, yeah, no way that's happening. See you later. Okay? So, if you put yourself in that dad's point of view, you're in a pretty scorned position. Using those Bible words, you're in a pretty upset position. But that's not what happens in the Bible. What happens is the son comes back, and it's such a glorious moment. And we're not going to be talking about what I think is a super awesome part about this, but when the son finally is like, all right, I'm heading out back to Dad's house. I'm going to eat some crow. I'm going to, I'm going to suck it up, and I'm finally going to go back and do what I need to do. And so he goes up to his dad. He said, they're walking down the road. I always think it's like those movies, where he's walking down the gravel road and he sees him from afar, and he's like, yeah, Dad. He's like running, and they hug, and he goes up and he says, Dad, oh, I'm so sorry. I've sinned so much. And his dad just interrupts him. He says, no. He says, quick, servants, go get some clean clothes. Get the best clothes. Get a ring. Let's put the ring on him. Go get one of these nice succulent pigs, and let's cook him. Okay, let's have a feast because our son came back. The father here had every bit of right to be angry at his son. Every single bit. That's all he, today looking at it, yeah, that's what we would do. We'd be like, oh, you're coming back? Yeah, okay, I'm going to rub it in your face. I'm going to post it on Facebook. You're going to take this selfie with them, be like, dirty son. And, all this stuff. But his father didn't. This is a parable that Jesus said. This is, a story about how we should live. Or in a story about God. And so he says, all right, son, that's awesome. Okay, this is how we should live our lives. Who are we to say that somebody doesn't need forgiveness? Even our worst enemies need that kind of forgiveness. You guys have enemies? I've had some people in my life that hurt me in ways that I thought at the time my life was over, that ruined my life. There was this person. Okay, so hold on. Well, we're going long today, so there was this person in my life, and this person hurt me so bad. And at the time, I just thought it was ending. My life was ending. I don't know what direction my life was going at that point. And, as God would put it, I can honestly say I hated her. God says in the Bible, or she says that he sees hate as murder. And honestly, there was some times where I'd be like, yeah, give me a knife. Just kidding, okay? But, I really did not like this certain person. And why did she do that? Or just so mad. Okay. How amazing God is. And how wonderful he is. He put her in my life. Over and over again. It wasn't an everyday thing, but I saw her, through the course of a year, probably 3 or 4 times. And, the first time I probably wanted to punch her in the face. No lie. And And it's just kind of one of those, you're walking through, you see them like, no, hi, okay, and then like just ignore, like whatever. But yeah, that totally happened. And then, I started to dive into forgiveness a little bit more. And what it truly means to be a forgiving person. And truly means to forgive like God forgave us. And I dived into that, and the next time I saw her, I said, I'm going to take her aside, and I'm going to forgive. And I did. Praise God. But I did. Thank you. But I forgave her. And I was bawling because I was like, you're one of the only people I've ever hated in my life. I was telling her this, and I'm like, at the time I wanted to stab you. And I was just saying all these mean things to her. But it was the truth, and I was crying and stuff. And, the weight after that was astronomical. It was larger than the sun that was lifted off my shoulders. Because I see her now. I see her now, and we embrace with a hug. And I say, it's good to see you. Because it is. Because I forgave her. In our lives, I know you have people like that in your life right now. I know you do. Because I did. And us people, we're a lot alike. I don't know if you guys knew that by now, but we are a lot alike. And if you want your relationships to be better with the people you live with the people that you encounter with at school, at work, at whatever, working at McDonald's, working at Walmart, whatever you do, forgiveness is number one. You've got to be a forgiving person. You have got to. Otherwise, you're going to do some of these other things I'm going to talk about, and it's not going to be good, okay? All right. My step two, that was just step one. It was a long step one, okay? Step two is never stay angry. Never stay angry. Okay, now this truly does sound like one of those, you go to the therapist and like, never stay angry. Okay, whatever you do, just never stay angry. All right, that's what it sounds like to me. If somebody would be like, your key to being happy and your key to getting along with everybody is to never be angry. And you're like, yeah, duh. Okay, yeah, that's what it sounds like. I understand. I'm there too. Whenever I first heard it, I was like, you're an idiot. Okay, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. But no. But listen here. In God, we have in Christian culture, in Christian in relationships in life, you ever heard of this term called righteous anger? Righteous anger? No? Okay. All right, students. No. Yeah. In Christian culture, we have this righteous anger. You are right in your anger because that person disrespected you. That person was mean to you, so you are righteous in your anger. But let me look at the flip side. Here's the verse that this comes from. It is in Ephesians 4. This is where we get the most idea of righteous anger. It says, in your anger, do not sin. So we say, all right, okay, I can sin, I can be angry, and I can have all this malice and hate in my heart, but as long as I don't sin, I'm all right, But let me read a little bit further. I mean, yeah, that sounds good. Let's read a little bit further. It says, do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. Okay? Obviously, anger is a response, is a natural response. Okay? If you try to live your life never getting angry, that's a lot of work, and I'm not going to do it. Okay? Obviously, it's a physical response. You're going to get angry no matter what relationship you get in, what kind of situation you get in. You're going to be angry. Okay? But here's what it is. You've got to let go. You've got to let go of that anger. All right? Because in later on still, it says, get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, brawling, and slander, along with every form of malice, every other, just as God forgave you. Whenever that person that did you wrong makes you mad, you've got to get rid of it. And that hurts. That hurts like, this is what we use in Malden, like a mug, okay? Like a mug, drinking mug, that's what we use, okay? It hurts like a mug. And yeah, okay, we're bringing some good language up in here. But it really hurts. It hurts bad. But you know, once you do that, it brings that weight off your shoulders, just like forgiveness. Okay. So my last little bit, my last point, I told you this segment was going to be shorter than the last. My last point, and it'd be good for the guys to come up, is my last point is that you never be lacking in compliments. So the first one was always forgive. The second one was never stay angry. And the third is never be lacking in compliments. Whenever you're mad at somebody, the absolute last thing you want to do is give them a compliment. Yes or no? Absolutely. Can you imagine, you know, like this person just like, I don't know, from what I heard, you know, like saying, your kid is stupid. Okay, they just said that and you're like, well, you look great today. You know what I'm saying? How hard would that be to, you know, whenever somebody disrespects you or hurts you or whatever, to then go and make them a compliment? But let me tell you guys, yeah, it works. You want to win an argument? Give them a compliment. Let's see what the Bible says. You have heard it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other cheek also. And if anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, hand over your cloak as well. If anyone forces you to go a mile, go with them 2 miles. If give to the one who asks you, and do not turn away from the one who gives to borrow from you. Love your enemies. Love your enemies. This verse is saying that if somebody disrespects you, that's okay. Do something nice for them. Listen, and again, you know, this is the other time in my life where I felt like I could murder somebody, and you know, I would just think God would be okay with it, just because they hurt me so bad. And this person, I don't know, it's just a ridiculous situation. But this person was crazy, not literally, but figuratively. But I go, and I'm at this place with this person, and they come over, and they literally start like making fun of my weight. They're like, "Hey, you look like you gained weight." Like honestly, that's what happened. And I'm fine, you know. I understand. I like to eat. Okay, I'm okay with it. I'm secure with all of this. But nobody wants anybody to come up and say something like that to you. You know, you guys don't want that. And you know, just saying that like you're pretty much a crappy whatever you do, and you're pretty terrible at what you do. And in that moment. And God was working with me all this time. You know, I was trying to do all this research and stuff, and I was trying to think about things and about being angry and conflict resolution. And this just hit me. It just hit me then and there. I'm like, you know what? If I kept on saying mean things to him, what help would that be? And so I finally made the conscious decision. You know what? I say, you know what, bud? I am honestly so excited for whatever you have going on this year. I'm honestly so pumped for your life. I cannot wait to see what you become, because I think you have the potential to be something great. Do you know what he did? He goes, and literally just walks away. Listen, if you want a conflict to end, you compliment that person. God says if somebody slaps you on the cheek, just give them the other cheek. Listen, humility is the place to go from. If you let pride seep into your heart, if you let pride take over and say, oh, well, I'm not letting him win. Well, I'm not going to forgive him because he hasn't forgiven me. I'm just going to stay angry at him forever because he has done me so wrong. You will never win. But let me tell you, when you let God win, you win every time. every time, if you let God win, you win. If you always forgive, never stay angry. And then that last one, give your enemy some compliments. And I laugh because it sounds so stupid, and it really does. But you know, I deal with a lot of drama in high school. Being a teacher in high school, you deal with a lot of the girls going, no you didn't, and you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, it's just part of the job. You deal with all that drama. But you know, I don't get into it a lot because, for one, I'm a dude. But one thing I do tell them, I say, you know what? I said, don't add to it. Add to yourself. Don't add to it. Give them a compliment. And they're not going to know what to do. They are not going to know how to act, what to do, and they're going to just think you're crazy, and that's a good place to be. Because we're called to be above the influence of the world. Listen, guys, altars always open up here. If you had some conflict in your life, if you've been here, if you wanted to stab somebody with a knife, a sharp one, with Katie's whatever she had, okay, if you've been there, this is real stuff, guys. I'm not sugarcoating, whatever. You know, we've all had those feelings. People done wrong. We're people. We make mistakes. Everybody's been there. If you've been like that, let me tell you, where you get strength, where you get help, is up here on the altar. Is sitting back there saying a prayer to God. Say, God, give me the strength to forgive this person, because I am too weak, and on my own, I can never do it. This is where you get that courage. Gaining your life from the one who gives light. I'm going to pray, guys. These guys are going to sing this last song. It says, let us be filled with, what is that? Let us be filled with the Holy Spirit. Flood this place with your atmosphere, your glory to God, our hearts long for, to be overcome by your presence. Let's be overcome by God's presence here, by His Holy Spirit that lives in every single one of us, God. Let's stand up. I'm going to pray, we're going to sing, and we're going to end this. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we humbly come before you today and just say that we're not excluded from having conflict, that we're not excluded from being mad, from being angry, God, but I pray that we come to you today and that we can live our lives above the influence of just getting ridiculous with people, and that we can forgive people, we can get rid of our anger, and we can love with our whole heart even though they have disrespected us, they've done us wrong, caused conflict in our lives, disrupted our peace. Dear Lord, be in here, I know you are. Let us receive from your presence, God. I just love you so much. And in your name I pray.